Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Honestly Kidding. And today I am here with some of my favorite people. Now, a few episodes ago, we filmed with my girls about relationships in today's society, and it was very unfiltered. Today, I decided to do this segment, but from the male perspective. And in the room, I have to my left, Adonis, who's a longtime friend. Some guy over there that I picked up on the street. No, I'm kidding. That's That's my boyfriend, Joe. And at the end is my longtime best friend, Cesar. Now, these guys, I don't know if you're going to agree with what they say or not, but regardless of whether you do or don't, they're hilarious guys, great guys, and hardworking. I admire them both professionally and just as men. So I wanted to invite them and get their take on how they see today's society, relationships, and let's see what they're going to say, because I have no idea.
Oh, thank you. That was a good intro.
Are you proud of my intro?
I am. I'm not all proud, but, it was good. It was good.
It was good. Well, thank you for acknowledging that.
No, anytime.
At least you say something. Somebody over there doesn't even acknowledge me.
No.
He looks nervous. Are you nervous?
No. Have your limelight, honey. Love you
No. These actually aren't my words. He texted me to tell you that after you did your intro, and then I'm just,
Oh, wow.
I'm just the middleman.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, I am. I like to say so.
And Cesar?
You
got anything to say? No, you're good.
You're good. We'll just keep it there.
You're good. We'll keep it like that. All right, guys. So the first question I want to start with is something that maybe not everybody agrees, but I don't know. I have guy friends. So do you guys think male and females can be friends?
No.
No.
No. I don't know. I don't know if you want us to go like one by one and say like no, yes, no, and then explain why, or just explain.
Go one by one.
You obviously feel very heavily on the subject, so I'm gonna pick you. And you can all give your opinion, and everybody can just jump in.
I feel the same in a way.
Okay,
Certain.
fair enough.
With boundaries.
Yeah.
Respectful boundaries.
I think honestly there are exceptions to the rule, but overall 99.9% of the time I disagree with it. That's not something that I would tolerate like in a relationship with me. And granted, I have the same rules for myself. It's just I expect my partner to do the same. Not expect. I tell them the boundary, and then if they if they want to still be with me, they be with me. But I think nothing good can come from it. Granted, like there are exceptions to the rule, and granted, like I had friends who were girls for like a long time. I sort of like developed these rules over time. The more I thought about it, and then like two of them sort of got grandfathered in. But overall, I believe that you should never be in a scenario where your significant other should ever doubt or like have to rely on trust for whatever scenario I guess that you're in. So there's no when I think of a friend, I think of like me and Joe going golf together one-on-one. Me and him kicking it, like go to, I don't know, Longhorn. I don't know why I say Longhorn, but go to Longhorn. Me and Cesar, I don't know, like meeting up at somewhere one-on-one or whatever. In no scenario should I be meeting up one-on-one with a girl by any means. I've known you for like what, 2 years now?
3.
3 years now. And I've also like made these rules as I've gotten older, but like, for example, I've known you for a very long time. And you originally were grandfathered into it, but like
I was grandfathered. We were friends before they became friends.
Before the rules. The rules did not exist at that time. Before the rules did not exist. Now they exist. So now things are different.
And he's not kidding about this.
No.
Do you remember the party we went to on the beach?
I do, but that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other story.
That's a whole other thing.
Point is, he had to FaceTime Joe because Joe was sleeping. Let's leave it at that. And he logged me out.
Yeah.
And Adonis and I went to Target before the party because I needed to change my clothes. And he had to FaceTime, call, leave a voicemail, and text Joe to tell him, Joe, my man, I'm not trying to date your girl. I'm not trying to hook up with your girl. Just so you know. I've known this guy for years.
There's a respecting that's important. There's a... That whole scenario in itself, I should have like never been in. That is like a worst case scenario kind of deal.
That is an outlier.
But I already don't believe in like guys and girls being friends one-on-one, let alone you being boys with your boy's girlfriend. That's like a whole nother area of like, because you can't avoid women altogether. So if your boy has a girlfriend, then there's just another set of rules that you have to go on with. So like In no scenario are we going out one-on-one.
Yeah.
There's no scenario where I call you unless Joe is dead and I'm like, yo, Cynthia, Joe is dead.
Damn.
There's no.
He's a little bit extreme, but
If I need to text you something for whatever reason,
you put us in a
I
group
put
chat
it in a
together.
group chat, and then that way
not
Joe
extreme.
knows whatever. And if for whatever reason you ignore the Adonis rules and you text me one-on-one, I'll tell you after like 2 texts, hey,
Where's Joe?
Cynthia, remember the Adonis rules? Well, let's take it to the other chat. Which I have done.
He has done. I tend to text him sometimes by myself. Nothing random, just to ask him a straight up question. Hey, yo, are you gonna make it? And he's like, why isn't Joe in this group chat? Why isn't Joe in this group
Where's
chat?
Joe? Let's talk on this
Where's
chat.
Joe?
Let's talk on this
Let's go
one.
back to our not threesome group chat.
See,
Our
this
three
is what I
friends.
mean. This is what I mean by no female. This is what I mean.
Our 3 friends group chat. But I like to say, I don't know, I feel like you guys are more lenient with that, with boundaries. Because I do think male and females can be friends with boundaries. I think you have to set certain boundaries. But I do think that can happen.
I just think, like, don't get me wrong, your partner needs to trust you. But like, I also need to respect my partner. So
Yeah.
I should not be in a scenario where guys and girls live differently. So the way that guys get girls is they actively have to pursue. They do the DM, they go up to the girl in the club, they go to the girl to the bar, they do whatever. A girl just puts herself in scenarios to foster, where they can elicit that attention and blah, blah, blah. So my girl should not be actively in scenarios where she's in a position to get hit on. And granted, you can get hit on in the library, but it's much more prominent to happen at like Patio or Wharf or like whatever, a bar.
Yes.
These are bars in Miami for anybody that's not from Miami.
You should. My girl should not be at a bar or a scenario where someone could, especially if like a girls' night or whatever, because that's going to be the argument, where she could be misconstrued as a single person. Granted, neither should I. The rule goes both ways. I shouldn't be in any scenario where like someone could mistakenly think that I'm a single guy and blah 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 blah. Now, where trust comes in is like, for whatever reason, there's a scenario that I need to be in wherever, where like a bunch of girls are, like for work or something. Then the trust has to come in, because that's how I make a living and that's how I do blah blah blah. But like on my free time, like I should by no means go on like on a I was gonna say escapade. That's a lame ass word. I don't know, just going out. I should by no means. Should I
What
be
is
going to
that?
like?
On an
I don't
escapade?
fucking know. Just like going
I'm
on.
gonna go on an escapade. What does
Going
that
to like
mean?
bar crawls and stuff. I shouldn't be going to like bar crawls or whatever without my girl. I should not. By no means necessary. Trust is important, but respect is more important, and the foundation of everything.
I applaud you for your beliefs, because I mean, even though sometimes I do think there are things that you say that can be a little extreme, but I do applaud you for them because you hold yourself to such a high standard, and I don't think everybody does that. So I do applaud you for that, and I respect you for that. Now, I want to hear what my guys got to say about this.
Well, having been the example of going to the beach party, to me, I say within respect, because obviously these are 2 of the closest gentlemen in Miami that I have to myself, and obviously they were your friends before they were my friends, and we have such a good close circle. Adonis, for the example that he gave, absolutely, it was hilarious because he gave all of the.
I wish I could film. I could play this.
He gave the text. He gave the calls. He said, "Yo, this is what's going on, play by play." He gave me one before. He gave me one after, and literally
For a month, he was saying sorry.
it was not even a month.
No, not sorry. I was like, it's your fault, Joe. I was like, it's your fault.
It was my fault.
Yours. Because of you, I'm in this situation. By no means is this an Adonis scenario.
I totally took it. And I was like, man, I fucked up because I fell asleep and the door was locked, and that's my fault and my bad. And so, but I love his rules because he was very devout about making sure that line was drawn. But then it was cool also because the next day I called him. I was like, if there was literally any person that I would trust my girlfriend with, it would be you. Obviously, you count as well. But it's just one of those things where you have to know the relationship between the guy. You have to know the relationship between the girl. You need to know that there's absolutely no history between them, and there's nothing but amicable and just pure professional respect. I understand his point because it's very much the respect factor. He's the extreme, and I respect him for that. For me personally, I believe girls and guys can be friends, but again, it's all about respect. It's about respect in the relationship, trust in the relationship, and it's about knowing who the individuals are. So these 2 you grew up with, I met them afterwards, and I love who they are. I love their character. I love their personalities. I understand who they are to their core, to the point where I understand and I trust that they would never overstep any boundary. So for an instant like that, or you say you're on a lunch or dinner with Cesar, it's something I don't even hesitate, and I hardly ask questions as long as you're there. As I trust you,
Yeah.
I respect you always, and
Well,
the guys I know. So
I
it's
always
not that
say
big of
this,
an issue.
like with these two. Okay, I always say this. When I look at Caesar, when I look at Adonis, no offense, guys, to me they have like vaginas.
Calm down.
Yeah, no offense at all.
Yeah,
no
that's
offense at
aggressive,
all.
right?
What a normal statement. I hear that all the time.
Honestly, that is the
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in a way, it's the same thing. It's the same thing,
and
though.
it's the same thing. And we've spoken about this so many times. So to me, when I see them, I'm like, at this point, I don't even love Caesar anymore. I love his girlfriend more than I love him. But it's okay. That's what happens, you know? But at this point, it's just like we've spoken about this because we've gone through a lot together. And they have literally been there for me at the lowest of the lowest. And at the lowest of the lowest, I don't know what just happened, but well, we're going to continue. And there's never been a boundary crossed. It's always been super respectful. They've defended me when they have had to. And they've always shown their respect. And I don't think all guys do that. And I think at that point, when that's established, I think at that point, a male and a female can be friends. I feel.
Yeah, it's definitely,
Right?
it's a respect thing. It's
Yeah.
very much, if a guy is involved with your female, you as the boyfriend in that, type of scenario
Yeah.
or dynamic, you have to know who that person is. You have to know their character. I know their character. I know their personalities. I know their ambition, their work ethic. I know Caesar's significant other. We've been on trips.
Yeah.
It's very much, you have to know the ins and outs, and that guy also has to reciprocate your feelings. They need to
Yeah.
understand where their placement is. Adonis has his rules of how he can interact with somebody, which is something,
Yeah.
it's very, very specific. And the way that he runs it, I commend him on the point that he demands it of his partner specifically for the reason that he holds himself accountable to.
Okay.
So it's reciprocated in the fact that he's not going to tell a girl to do something that he doesn't do himself. It's lead by example sort of stuff in the relationship. And I could never speak more highly of that, because it's how you build trust, it's how you build respect, it's how you build a healthy relationship. You talk about everything, you communicate everything you need to do.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I think it's somewhere that you do run it, and I will always be very comfortable with my girlfriend being around Cesar or Adonis, because they're individuals I've had personal conversations with. I connect with them on a personal level. I connect with them on a, just regular social level, because they're your friends and they were your friends before they were my friends. And we're all on the same page. And
And
I
you're
feel
also-
like it needs to be that way.
And I also feel like because a lot of men feel uncomfortable with the entertainment industry, or when they're girls in the entertainment industry, whether it's modeling or acting or those things. Joe met me when I was in this industry, and then he got into it, and he understands that side of that industry, and he knows that's something I pursue. So that's why I feel like with him, it's a great perspective for him to speak his mind and say his point, because not a lot of guys like that, right? And aren't willing to accept certain things in the entertainment industry. And I think as long as you respect each other in that way, I feel like, which you always have given me, I think that
Well, we discussed
friendship could
it.
be
We
there,
discussed it to the
yeah.
point where it's, if you get a role or you get a position or you get something that could be compromising because it could push the limits from time to time, it's something that you bring to me and we think about it more from a business perspective. If it's, a kissing scene or a problem or something that's a little bit more scantily clad, that I'd be like, how does this progress your
career.
profession, your career at that time? And I'd be like, if you're going nowhere with it and it's just to show some skin, we live in Miami, it's a lot of music videos and skin and kissing and
Yeah.
nothing. But if it's something where it could be a large role to exponentially grow your career, it's something that I can't do anything besides stomach it and then support you in that role. I'll have a problem with it, but it is something that it came with our industry. It comes with the position, and it's something that I have to understand. But you do a great job in communicating with me and seeing both sides of it.
Yeah.
And then if we agree, you move forward. We've had points where you don't agree and you don't move forward. And then we've
Yeah.
had points where we do agree and be like, okay, go for it.
Yeah, as long as it's something that it's done tastefully and it advances your career in an appropriate way and you both agree with it and you're both on that same page, I think that's fine. Speaking from an entertainment industry standpoint. Now, speaking of women, I want to know what characteristics you guys look for in the women here. Now, they're in relationships, mind you. But if you guys were single, right? Obviously, your women are beautiful in their own right. But what are the characteristics and the values you seek in the women that you would want to date. And Adonis has a great analogy, which I do want him to mention and say. And if Joe and Cesar can chime in on a similar
We'll save it for last.
analogy.
Start with Cesar. I would like to hear this.
All right. Well,
Because he has a wonderful girlfriend that we have both been with.
Let's
and we
start
support.
with Cesar.
I feel like someone that I look for is like just humbleness, honestly. Whether she's good looking or whatever, I have to be attracted, obviously, right? That's one thing. But humbleness would be the one thing. Cannot be someone that is like too materialistic and all these type of things, because
Especially in Miami.
especially in Miami, that's all you get. And no, humble, just humble. That's
So your
my
number one quality is a
that's my
humble
main
girl.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Humility. Okay.
Yeah.
Humility. Do you care what, ethnicity she is? Do you rather date like a Latina? Not to say that you're
No, it's just my girl
But-
is like Cuban. So,
Cuban. I know I'm Cuban
I
too.
like my
We're
Latinas,
the-
so
Not-
I love that.
Latin girls are number one? What can I
And you
say?
have it in common. It creates a good foundation.
It is, yeah. There is like something similarities,
Yeah.
obviously, and I like that.
she's like,
I
"What's
guess
tostones?
it just needs to
What's
have like something together.
What's
in a way.
tostones?
What's
Listen,
This guy.
I ended up dating outside of my, culture. I'm Latin, and I had always only dated Latin guys prior to dating Joe, and he's been the one I've lasted
The
for
longest.
the longest.
Platanos? What are these? What are these?
What are these?
Everything.
We should go over words that Joe said. The first Spanish words Joe learned we cannot say because they are bad words.
That's how you learn a language.
That's the first thing that you learn.
Yeah.
That is the first thing you learn. We are not gonna say it here, but
Can we curse on this?
Yeah.
if you want to,
Okay,
we'll just bleep it.
Okay. I had
doesn't
cursed like
run
3
away
times
with it.
already. I cursed like, a little bit already.
You cursed.
Yeah, I cursed.
Why didn't I hear you?
I don't know. I was slick with it.
You were slick with it?
We just roll with
Did
it.
anybody hear him curse?
I did.
I didn't.
You did?
All
Yeah.
the time. When?
What curse were
I
you
just haven't heard a
saying?
topic yet that I'm gonna
I don't know.
curse about.
Some negative ones. Some.
Did you hear
Not
flip?
that bad.
Was it flip?
It was flip. Maybe.
It's an
Okay.
ass.
Ass is not a bad
We
word.
might have to.
That's like a kindergarten level word.
Really? Cool.
We had different levels of kindergarten.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that. Kids do not say ass to your parents.
What's ass?
Okay. So tell us the perspective on women and the personalities and the character traits that you like in a woman.
And
You have not gone. You have not gone.
no,
brother.
hold
I'm the
up.
last.
Oh, okay.
He goes last because he's dating me.
Okay.
Because I do want to hear your analogy from.
Okay. First, before I say the analogy, the things that I think are important are you have to measure the woman's value of like respect versus attention. You have to, because like we live in a society where like attention is the best thing. I'm a software engineer, so like when you apply for like Instagram or you apply to Facebook or whatever, any social media company, they're gonna tell you like, well, our currency, Instagram is free, Facebook is free. The currency is attention. So it's the reason that you're on there, or that you post things, is to garner attention, to garner likes, to get those things. Or granted, you can do it for business purposes, but you need attention to get those likes and to get those the audience. You have to see how much that girl values attention. So if the girl, granted, I would never date a girl who's like posting a bunch of bikini pictures. Like if all her pictures are bikini pictures of her at the beach, I'm never gonna.
So no
pass.
OnlyFans.
No.
So you would
And
not.
if you do that, more power to you. But not for Adonis.
That's not the ideals you uphold. Right.
Yeah.
To each their own. You don't judge, but it's not what you want
yeah.
for you. And everybody has a right to, decide what they want in their life.
Yep.
And that should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I would see that. And then just more qualities of like, I guess what I would want the mother of my children to like have. So like patience, like good leader. I want her, like, I don't want her to crumble under everything. Like granted, I'm not going to put like a bunch of responsibility towards her, but having a kid is hard. Having more than one kid is hard. Ideally, I can have like 4 kids. I say that now.
Go
I
to
say
soccer
that
team.
now.
Let's just go for a soccer team, dog.
I say that
12
now.
children, ladies
Nobody
and
wants a
gentlemen.
starting 11. Nobody wants a starting 11.
I think about like 2 and I'm already like, oh.
It is
Dollar bills.
It is a lot.
This is what I see.
but
More.
Well, having been in the unique situation, and I know this was something that we spoke on previously. We spoke about it for years, and I was like, "What if this scenario come up?" And it was a hard pass. But now you're in a fantastic relationship, and you're in the situation that you didn't necessarily know you were going to find yourself in, but you're loving it. You're loving the individual. You're loving the situation. You're loving your scenarios that you're in, everything you face and everything that you learn.
Would you like to expand on the situation or
no?
No? Okay.
But more so because I have found that the girl is worth those things. Okay. So there are a lot of difficult times, and there's a good amount of scenarios where down the line it's more stressful than I'd care for. But the girl carries all the qualities that I would want like my wife to have and for the mother of my children to have. So I would want her to be able to teach them things. I'd want her to be able to like be stern when you have to be stern and like be soft when you have to be soft. There's a lot of things that like women are better than men at doing, like nurturing and caring for. There's gonna be times where like I have caught myself like saying scenarios where I want to like teach my son how to do X, Y, Z, and then I'll hear her say it, and she'll say exactly what I said, but in her voice, and I'll be like, oh, that's kind of crazy. And then
like no wonder he paid attention or she paid attention.
Help like give that like balance and whatever. And granted, most of the things I have are like pretty well thought out and like very reasonable. But I would want like just a level-headed woman who can handle stress. Like I don't want you to crumble under like a bunch of, whatever task or responsibilities. But I just someone you can count on, and like someone who can hold themselves to the same standards that I hold myself. I hold myself to like a very high standard, and there's like, I call them Adonis rules, but like I have a lot of Adonis rules, and like there's a lot of like rules that I just.
He does. He is not your typical everyday guy. There's just like a good one.
In my rules, you eliminate all doubt. There's absolutely no way for you to have like trust issues or whatever issues, or for anyone to think anything else. You just remove all possibility for doubt in any scenario. And if I can find someone who matches that and also like shares the same faith as me, and like if we have a disagreement and we can go to like our faith or to the Bible to like bounce off the Bible as like our source of truth, then absolutely we can do that.
Now, how do you? That's an interesting point, because faith is really important to me, and I am in a relationship who my partner has different beliefs than I do in a way, but we respect each other. And I grew up believing in God, and for me, he's who I cherish and who I pray to. But I know you guys aren't perhaps as religious as Adonis and I. So how do you uphold those values in a different? Because like I pray, he prays. How do you guys approach those situations?
You want to start?
I can start. Yeah. First of all, I'll commend Adonis because of all of his rules. And again, he holds himself to it and he expects it. And from what I've heard about his relationship, and we communicate all the time because obviously as men, we like to share our stories. We like to see how we can better our relationships, be more intimate, and really have a constructive relationship with our other halves. And every time I talk to him, it's all about communication. It's all about a rule. Yeah. It's always about, no matter if it's, going back to the Bible to check or to really find your foundation, you are rooted in communication, and you're rooted in respect, and you're rooted in making sure that problem is found and compromised, and you're in there and you understand both sides of it and you find what works for you. So that's huge. And for me and Cynthia, obviously, I'm not religious. I have my, it's just nothing that I haven't had my moments yet. I haven't had that belief. And I respect everybody that has it, from any religion you ever have, anything you follow, anything you believe, any path you choose is your own. It's your path to walk. Saying that in my relationship with Cynthia, it's specifically to the point where I don't judge you on your religion. I don't tell you what to believe. I don't say it's horse crap. I don't say, fuck it. And then we've also spoken about having children, and it was like, well, if I have kids, I want them to follow my path,
be embraced within the Christian faith
very much. And it's one of those things where I'm not that person. I'm not going to say, no, my kids, absolutely not, I think this is a joke. I'd be like, no. I'd be like, if that's how you want to raise the children, absolutely. If they ask me, I'm going to say I support you, and also that's the one that they follow until they're 18 and they can follow their own path. I would think I was religious up until like 8 years old is the last time I can even remember walking into a church. And it was not something that I never rooted my foundation in it. It's not the pillars to my life. My pillars are found elsewhere for different experiences and different things that I have seen growing up. But I will always respect my partner's religion. I will always have a conversation. None of our conversations are really rooted like who's better than this or that's bullshit or anything. It's always about respect. It's always about communicating, and it will always be about what's best for us, and obviously from my point of view, what's best for you. Because if prayer works for you, awesome. It's not what works for me, but I'll do what I need to do. You do what you need to do. We come together and we find the path forward. That's the most important thing to me in communication, like Adonis does with his significant other. That will always be the number one thing.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, no matter what we face with.
How do you approach situations where, I don't know if you and Anna share the same faith. That's not a question I've ever asked you guys, but
I grew up as a Catholic, obviously.
So
and
so
I
you're
have my
Catholic.
values as a, yeah, but I'm not a practitioner, let's just say that. So
right.
like, I don't go to church, I feel like, that's something within me. And, but I do love the philosophy of all the religions in a way. And I try to grasp like everything.
You
and
respect
I respect.
it.
I
Right.
respect
Which I
everybody's.
think that's really important. I think in today's day, that's something that's really important just to kind of move forward. It's just like we should respect everybody's ideals, at the end of the day, because you can't force anything upon anybody.
Yeah.
I've realized that everybody kind of has to forge their own path and find their own way. And I think that's kind of like the best way to do so.
Yeah. No, but I do believe in God. Obviously.
No,
I do
yeah,
believe
yeah.
in God, and I feel like we as men we should have like fear to that, and that keeps us humble in a way.
Yeah.
Or whatever your faith is, you
Yeah.
need to have like something above
Yeah.
you
A
in
higher
a way.
power.
A higher power.
Definitely.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if not, you just
Yeah.
Flow.
I should mention, like, it is a process. Like, I have slowly become more.
Your process is super
Your
interesting.
process is
I have slowly become a more like devout Christian, but like I still curse. Like I gotta stop that. I still
Nobody's
curse.
perfect. Nobody's perfect.
I am
It's really
slowly
hard to
trying to become more and more Christian. But like when I adopt the rule, I try to just like, all right, this rule is done. We never have to worry about this again until never. We just focus on the next rule.
Yeah. Back to your analogy, though. We gotta go back to his analogy.
That's right.
Go from
Move
religion
on.
to that analogy.
It was about the
pretty
values.
much-
The values.
It has to do with the values of movement, and Adonis always compares it to a.
You can't do it. You can't. I have to do it. You can't do it. You can't just take my analogy from it.
Not gonna take his McDonald's, but let's just say he uses the McDonald's menu.
This is.
Oh, you're getting
Sounds horrible when you put it like that. This is why. See, men and women can't be friends. They can't. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand. They don't get how to do it.
We're friends.
What I see.
You're gonna
What
get
I
busted over the hamburger.
What I see.
No,
And I don't
let
even
him-
agree
let
with
him
this
speak.
Don thing
Say
either.
it.
They just keep doing it. I don't know how to make them
Explain
stop.
it,
I don't know how to make them stop. The way that this analogy works is. You get the values, you find the values that you want. You go to McDonald's, you get your number one. That's what you order. You order the number one. You order number one with fries
What's your
and
number
blah,
one?
blah, blah. Number one at McDonald's is Big Mac. It's not my number one. That's just what the menu is.
The menu is. I don't eat McDonald's, so I don't know the.
That's fine. It's a number one. It's,
Okay,
it's
got
Big
it.
I
Mac.
trust you.
You
I
go,
trust
you
you,
get your
yeah.
Big Mac with fries, but then you pay. Now you have paid for this Big Mac fries and Coke, and then you go to the window and they give you chicken nuggets. That cannot happen. I paid for a Big Mac. I wanted a number one. I was in the mood for a number one. I want a number one. I cannot date you and then do all the things that are required as a man in a relationship, and then you just completely switch up your personality. It cannot be like, oh, this is how I want this is how I want to raise my kids. This is how I want like the ideal marriage to be. This is how I want ever. And then we start doing those things, and then I fulfill my end of the bargain, and you don't do any part of your bargain.
So what if your girl starts off as Big Mac or number one, but then something happens and then she turns into a chicken
A
nugget?
shift.
Where all of her values change?
Not all of her values, but like certain things. Would you break up with her,
Like
or
what?
would you like?
It depends on the thing. Like it depends on like if the things that are changing are like deal breakers. And, like if she's like, listen, I don't want to have any kids ever. I hate kids. They're stupid and they're stinky. Then I'm gonna be like, listen. Well, I respect your opinion. I'm sorry. I want children. I will. I'm out. I'm out. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Sounds like a game show. Thank you for
Yeah,
your time.
thank you.
You may now exit.
Thank you. And then we handshake, and then I leave.
And then you.
But if it's like if it's something stupid, granted, like if it's something stupid, we probably wouldn't even have that conversation.
Yeah.
But,
So
like,
what if? So I know I'm 34 specifically, and I changed a lot in my mid to late 20s. So what if perspectives change on certain topics? Do you guys talk about those? You see shifts and those changes that you're gonna go through, maybe specifically on certain topics, and nothing groundbreaking. Like it's not gonna go, right 90 left.
Yeah.
But if you see a change of heart or have a change of heart, what
Yeah.
do you do?
And like age gap, I feel like for us, I mean, it's not a big age gap, but we're 7 years apart. And
let's just not talk about
let's just not talk about age.
There's no age gap.
But there are certain things, because when a guy's older, there's certain things that maybe he's more ready for than if you're at a state where, like, for instance, right now, if Joe were to tell me, I want to have a family right this instant, and I'd be like, I'm not ready. But if that's what he wants and he's really rooted in that, I think it's an age thing, because he's 34. He's already been through that. thankfully he's not, and he agrees with me, and he's willing to wait for me, and
you have
he
a
respects
conversation.
that.
Right.
But not all men are. So I think it's really important when you have such an age gap. I do think it's important for you guys to sit down and talk about what your non-negotiables are.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. Like,
Because I think that's
month
gonna help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel everything
Yeah.
goes to communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
just
you
talk
have
if
to be
you
on the
can.
same
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, just over communicate. Like nothing bad can happen if remember over communicating. Nothing.
Do
bad
not
is-
under communicate. Do not be a chicken nugget. Be a Big Mac. Okay. This is
See again.
what Adonis
men and
is
women.
saying.
Again.
This is Adonis's analogy. Okay.
What if you're a Big
I
Mac
wouldn't
and
put
you
it-
cop some chicken nuggets and you put them right inside of your Big Mac? So technically, you still got your Big Mac.
No,
With some chicken nuggets.
I'm a one menu item kind of guy. I am a one woman, one thing.
You're a one menu kind of guy.
Yeah, one menu kind
One
So
of.
you
menu
never
item.
order your Big Mac and fries?
That's a meal. That's the whole meal. That's the number one. You haven't been to McDonald's in a long time.
We don't eat it.
You're missing out. You're missing out. You're missing out.
Joe's like the healthiest person ever, and I'm not.
They have healthier options.
Well, I
Egg
eat
McMuffin.
healthy, but-
Egg McMuffin. The macros are fantastic.
Yo, when I was
And
in
it's a real
college,
egg. It's a real egg.
We lived on McChickens this college.
Hey, McDonald, you should sponsor me. Just saying. This is totally free
Because we talk
promo.
about Big Mac, chicken nuggets, and McChickens.
And
Boom.
sponsor these guys too, especially him. He really wants a Big Mac.
I've used that.
He's gonna get offended if you give him a chicken
He's
nugget.
got way louder personality.
Way less. All right. So speaking of today's day and age, something I asked the girls was that I told them was dating apps in today's day and age. I feel like we've all been those in some point. How do you guys feel? Like, do you think they used to be better back in like a couple of years ago? Now you recently got into a relationship, which obviously you found nothing on a dating app.
Yeah.
But I luckily, I mean, I was on Bumble for like a day, and then I was like, this is too much effort. And then my other relationship has just been through, just organic friendships. But
I will say, of
your
all the apps-
perspective, and I know Cesar's been on it, you've been on them when you guys were single. Do you feel like it's gotten better or worse? I don't know.
it's just been consistently bad. It's just, at least from my personal
Yeah.
experience, you're not gonna find your wife on Tinder. You're just not.
So
you're
Tinder,
not.
if we had to
no.
rate the dating apps.
You have Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. Did I miss
If we had to rate
I
the
don't
dating
know.
apps
Tinder,
and go
Bumble,
from like
Hinge.
Tinder, Hinge,
Hinge. It's a thing.
Bumble,
It would have been
Playfish,
like.
and I think
I prefer
Facebook
Tinder.
now
Big
has a
Fish?
dating app too.
I don't
That's a
know.
name?
Big fish.
Playfish,
Wow.
no?
I didn't get that
No?
deep. I didn't get that deep
Playfish?
into it. I didn't.
I got as far as like Bumble. I
Yeah.
tried Hinge. I honestly, sorry to cut you off. I think
Yeah.
it's hit or miss, absolutely hit or miss. But I think the intangibles that root yourself in a strong relationship, or the things that you want to find out for your forever partner, you will not find by texting "What's up" on an app.
Yeah.
It won't happen.
So what's a good like startup?
Good
Like
start.
to
What?
reach out to a girl.
not get
Dating
on
Yeah,
social
don't-
apps.
don't- don't-
Like,
yeah.
What would be your
I mean, I had a whole system.
what was
I
your
had a
system?
whole- I had
What
a
was
whole
your
way.
system?
I had though. Granted, like my girlfriend now ruined this. I didn't get to try it honestly, so I don't even know if it works. But my thing was,
Guys, take
I was getting more into the church. I'm thinking what values I want in like my future wife, and like I want the mother of my children to whatever. So I'm like, I'm not gonna find her at the bar. I'm gonna find her at church. They have the same values as me, have the same whatever. The only way I can now find this girl is to get more involved in the church.
Does that work?
Worst case scenario, I get involved in church. Worst case scenario, and I meet some new people who are trying to better their lives. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, I get involved. I join some groups, and then in the groups, there are gonna be women, and there's gonna be single women. So then you just
People are gonna think you. So you basically God was your wingman, Adonis.
I mean, I got the church. I got the church, and that's what's important.
it got me to church.
It got you.
It
man.
had gotten me to church, and granted,
The
like
victory is good.
I got distracted by God, and I didn't even do the.
That's
like,
a good distraction.
yeah. I ended up I got
Everybody
more
has one
involved into like the actual church part of things. The reason I originally went was like to find a good wife there, but then I started listening to the message, and I started liking the messages. So then I became slowly more devout. But that originally my plan was to like join in basically like a group at church who like has like a job. So
he was looking to serve.
basically just serve on a team. And I got to the last step. I joined 2 teams, a coding team and then like a build team. And then like right before I was about to serve, I got a girlfriend. And then
and then you stopped serving.
And then I was like, why am I gonna serve? No, I still serve on the coding
He's like
team.
objective achieved.
I still serve on the coding team.
Thank you, God.
And I still go to church every Sunday, but
But your girlfriend's like religious as well. So
yeah,
you guys do it.
yeah.
I think everybody, again, this goes back to everybody has their own path, and I think that's what you were meant to find.
I think that was
and that was your path, and I think God, you put you there for a purpose. And at the end of the day, your girlfriend does have the same religion as you, your same values, your same morals. So even if you stop serving, but
no, I still serve.
oh, you still
Yeah,
serve? Okay.
Yeah, I still serve. I'm on the coding
If
one.
you do stop serving for some time, I'm sure you'll go back eventually.
Yeah.
Cesar, how do you feel?
I'm a little more open-minded when it comes to that. But 99%.
I'm closed-minded.
It's
so close.
No, it's not good. You know.
How did you meet Anna?
Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now we're bringing on the subject of social media. So we're not just talking dating apps. So what did you write to Anna?
Did you jump in her DMs?
Hey.
What was your it was just like,
I don't have like a
hey,
pickup line. There's no pickup
I have a
line.
Porsche.
there's no,
There's
it
no
was just
pickup
like,
line.
hey.
She gave you away already, bro. She gave you away.
She-
DMs.
By the way, Anna's here in studio, guys. Just that's why I keep saying her name, because she's
Yeah,
here
no.
supporting her man.
No, I just messaged her and that's it. I felt like, you know, she
You
was
just like, hey.
good looking and, you know, like, first it's everything
So
is
what'd you say?
visual,
Hey,
you know,
what's
everything
cooking,
goes to
good
the
looking?
eyes.
Like-
Obviously.
You said, hey, what's cooking good looking?
No, what?
Oh.
Yo, I give you props.
No.
If you put that down,
No,
I'd be
no,
like,
no, no.
classic.
What did you
She's like,
say?
hey, how are you?
Classic.
Hey,
No,
how
he
are
doesn't
you?
care.
That's it, and then we just
Doesn't care
started
What's
talking,
cooking
you
good
know?
looking?
No effort. No effort.
I mean, it was like, it took like a long...
Did you know her at all?
Copy
Maybe
paste.
like 3 months to actually meet up.
But did you know her at all? Or you
No.
just shot your shot?
I just shot my shot because I just came up.
And
I didn't know how they met.
It worked out great.
But it worked
Your
out
shot,
great.
Swish.
Yeah.
Done.
But when we
3-pointer.
started getting to talk to each other and other stuff, you know, like I found out that she had like a lot of similarities with, you know, with
Yeah.
me and
You guys are very
values
similar.
and other stuff. So you know, and when we were at the wedding, like I was
Yeah.
talking to you, I was like, bro, like these girls, like this,
Yes.
like this, like this. And
We
she was
went
like,
to a
"Bro."
wedding. We went to a wedding in Honduras for a mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
and Anna couldn't go, but he didn't stop talking about her. So that's when we knew things were gonna get
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah, because I don't get serious like that. So
No.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
get serious like that. I have like really like a
really
soft
high
features.
standards.
Yeah,
really.
really high
All the guys in
standards.
this room have really high standards, and I think that's really good. Ladies, you want to find men with high standards.
And I know I
because
just said
that's
like humble.
they're
and
gonna
stuff,
be
but-
good to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and I know I just said like, you know, humble is the one thing that I look for, but there's so many things that I look for. It's just I just didn't say them. You know?
And those are the standards you look
Yeah,
for. It's
I'm
not-
kind of like
looks are
Adonis,
there,
you know,
but-
kind of like
This is-
very strict, but
Yeah.
it's just a little less.
Yeah.
So Instagram, I would say Instagram is a better place. To
Honestly,
do-
Instagram's probably number one.
Number
That's probably
one,
the
yeah.
most common place.
Number one. Do
I
not,
did.
yeah. Do not go to the regular dating apps. I feel like if there's something on Instagram, or if you met the person, you have a better shot at shooting them a message on Instagram, guy or girl.
I mean, the guy's always gonna. 98% of the time, the guy's
It's gonna
DM
be
the girl.
Yeah. How would you feel if a girl was like, "Hey, what's up?"
Now I just block,
Well, now,
block.
no,
block.
not now, but like,
Back then, I mean, I'd just be like, "This is definitely Joe. This is this is definitely Joe."
Pull that shit off.
honey, what about you?
Damn.
Honey, what about you? You would respond, or you'd be like more like, "Why is she writing me?"
Single? I mean, Instagram. It's all a super sticky situation. Instagram is like, if she's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'd be like,
Bot.
Oh yeah. If a girl, no.
"Yeah." On Instagram,
No.
it's just weird. Like, no, not gonna.
So
happen.
wait, guys can do, but girls can't. Is that what you guys are saying?
No, I mean,
I
think
feel
it's-
that way.
I think guys are more
Why?
expected to do it because it's like guys will just shoot their shot at anything, whatever.
I think girls can do whatever they want.
girls can do whatever.
Yeah,
they want.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
do. Yeah, but like I feel like if you do it,
I'm never gonna
it's-
propose
it's
to you
just
if you do that. That's
how many times have you done it?
Right.
Yeah, but the ratio of girls shooting a shot versus
It's weird. Yeah, it's
you're
really
looking at
low.
like 1,001. Like
Yeah.
it's not.
It's really
popular.
low.
It's girls put themselves in a scenario for that to happen.
Yeah.
The guys are the one usually pitching and whatever.
Yeah.
That's true. Would you guys? No, this is totally different. So you're in a good relationship. You've gotten married. You make your girl sign a prenup.
Yes.
Yeah,
I will say yes. 100%.
I think everybody
I
should
think
have a prenup.
yeah, like I think like everything that you guys have accomplished
Before?
separately before
Yeah.
Yeah.
should
Should
be
be yours.
entitled to you, and then
100%.
anything after the marriage, then all together.
I think everybody
obviously.
should have a prenup.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the one advice my mom gave me. She's like, the day you get married, make sure you have a lawyer and sign a prenup.
Damn.
And I got ridiculed for saying I wanted a prenup. Oof.
Well, when we
Funny.
started, at first I was like, a prenup. And my mom had always told me that. But it wasn't until Joe, mind you, he's the most ambitious guy I've ever dated. So props to you, honey. But then now having, creating my own startup and all the work you've put in and everything I've built that you've built, I feel like you need a prenup. Like,
And
you can't take away with
you have to specify too in a prenuptial agreement with all the stipulations that go into it. It's not stone cold,
No.
like
Yeah.
fuck off, like you're screwed if
a lot
we
of
break
people-
up or we divorce. It's definitely not that.
Yeah.
It is a copacetic agreement between two people that you're not going to leave them out in the cold. Your life is your life. Everything that you earned is
Yeah.
what you earned. Everything
Yeah.
that what I earned, and then you have stipulations too, because obviously if you have kids, it goes into it.
It has to
If you
be
have
fair.
businesses.
It has
It has to
Exactly.
be fair.
No, but-
well, a lot of people see it as like you're setting the marriage
There's
up for failure.
there's a small thing though. Like if I'm telling, let's say my girl to like, hey, do not work. I got you,
Yeah,
and
it
stuff
also
like that.
depends on, like,
And
the
then I
dynamic.
make you sign a prenup. I think that's fucked up.
No, that is-
Because
totally twisted.
eventually, when let's say if
That's a
something
different
happens,
scenario, yeah.
if something happens, then
Yes.
she's gonna be
No.
basically
No.
left with
That
zero.
would-
Yeah. In that
she didn't
scenario,
work.
I
She didn't
still
put her
think-
career
no.
on top, like nothing, and that's
I
fucked up.
still think you can
I feel that way.
have a prenup, but make it like a fair one. Because
Exactly. Let her grow. Let her grow as well.
Whether
Yeah.
you sign one or not. No, even if she's a housewife. Whether you sign one or not, you have a prenup when you get married. It's just that if you don't make one of your own, the government gives you one. It's just like the government, and the government will give her a massive chunk of what. And like, granted, I want to say like, ideally you never get divorced and blah blah blah. But like in the case you do get divorced, you can have a prenup where it's like if I want you to be a housewife, it's just like you don't get 90% of my stuff, or you don't get 100%. You just get you get a good chunk, and I'll still take care of you. I'll still like I'll help you get back on your feet. It's not just gonna be
And you, like, taper
I
off.
leave you higher. Yeah, it's like I taper off. It's not like
No,
like there are
it's usually
some
fair.
there are some scenarios where like guys. The girl has been remarried for 10 years, and the ex-husband is still paying her monthly
Oh,
kind
no.
of deal. Yeah, so like
That is whack.
depending on
I
the
was
state,
about to say that is wild.
Wait, really?
the depending on the state that in your stuff that you're in, like you're signing a prenup regardless. It's just either your prenup or the government's prenup. And like I am a person who like ideally in my most ideal scenario, I make a bunch of money and my wife like gets to be a stay-at-home mom at least until like the kids are like old enough to like go to school and whatever.
I think-
And then you can make a prenup that like is appropriate for that.
Yeah.
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 And we've had this conversation before, so I'm glad you brought it up because
Many a time.
we have. He's one of my really closest friends, and I respect all of his views. But this is one where where my path is very different, because I love working and I love being on the go, and I do agree that you should be there as a mother for your kids. But I also want my guy supporting me if I don't want to stop working. Like I want him to say, my wife is a badass and I'm proud of her and I think she could do both because she's capable. I don't know. I feel like having to choose shouldn't be like.
I want to provide the option.
Yeah.
For
If you
our
provide the
specific
option and you talk to your partner, I think it's individual to each relationship. Yeah. But I do think if your girl wanted to continue pursuing her dreams, I don't think that should bug you.
It's not that it bugs. In my whole scenario, what I believe is that like the main thing that I want a wife for. I think the most beautiful and important thing that like my wife can do is to like raise a good positive force for the world. I think it's more important than whatever job I do, than whatever my accomplishment, than whatever anything that I can do is not nearly as important as that. So now my job is to help foster an environment where that is can have the most probability for success. In that, I do not see both people. Granted, it's not forever. It's not for whatever. But like from 0 to like 2 or whatever. Granted, the baby, I don't know how much they're absorbing. I don't know whatever. But I would want the mother of my children to be present like the majority of the time. I'm not okay with like a stranger being with my child or like taking care of my child the majority of the time. Now you can have a remote job. There's ways to make that scenario work where the wife is still at home and working. And I've had like this discussion with my current girlfriend where like she wants to work. She wants to do those things. There's scenarios where like you can still work just remote. Like remote is an option now in this age. Like you do have those options. But like from 0 to 2, like it is an absurd amount of work for one kid, let alone like 2 or 3. It is like it takes a village, and if you don't have like your village with you, like if you don't have your family with you, it is crazy hard. And then you're gonna go out and then and work. Both of us are gonna be working. Who's gonna take care of the kids? The only way for that to happen is if you're lucky enough, you have a family member, come in and do it. But if you're not that lucky, then you have to have a nanny do it.
Yeah,
and
again, it's
I don't want that.
scenario based.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that goes to my perspective of like, I don't know, would you personally like to be with, and this goes for all of you, a woman? And I think this should be up to the woman to decide, and obviously speak to you guys and communicate to you guys, but at the end of the day, I think it's a decision, it's a personal decision of whether, if you've always been ambitious and you have your dreams, I don't think anybody has the right to be like, you can't pursue that.
I feel like it's a conversation.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
Yeah, it is a conversation.
And,
Yeah.
like, if you guys want different things in life, you want different things in life.
Because ambition,
you go away.
Yeah, ambition in the professional track, you definitely, as you're an individual, prior to getting into a relationship with another ambitious individual, you have this set path.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to hell or high water succeed. Millions. Everybody wants that. And everybody's entitled to that with the amount of hard work that you can put in and you can succeed. But when you get into it with another ambitious person, such as yourself and us, and we've had this discussion several times, it's very much like I said earlier, I want to provide the ability for you to take that 6 month, a normal maternity leave, 9 months a year, whatever you choose. Obviously the first 6, I want you to stay low, recover, especially in our situation. But then past that, regroup, get back on your feet, see what the best scenario is for you, see what the best path is for you, and then gain momentum and go back. That's not something. And then obviously we're not so much as opposed to au pairs or additional help. And obviously your family is very close to where we
I'm one of the lucky ones that has a family that can help.
Yeah, so it's very much trying to find that coming together. And then obviously when you get back and you get your health is under you and you've had that communication, you find the right scenario for your child, your family's involved, and I'm successful, you're successful, I will absolutely support you in anything you want to do. But as Adonis stated earlier, I believe, honestly, and we've had this conversation too, it's I think one of the most successful things you can do is nurture or grow and nurture a child to be a successful part of society. I think it's something to where I'm going to put the best parts of me into that person. You're going to put the best parts of yourself into that person. And then when they go off and they succeed, as everybody wants for their child, then it's something that I find that to be success.
I applaud a lot of women who do it because being a mom is hard. It's
very
hard.
hard.
I have girlfriends who are moms, and I admire them because they're single mothers.
Yeah.
They have very phenomenal kids.
And your mom's a single mom, and your mom hustles.
Yeah. And my mom at one point was a single mom until she met my stepdad, raised me, moved to a country as an immigrant. So I've had that, and today she's the CEO of her own business, and she's a hustler. So I was raised in a specific way, and I think that's why I'm bred the way that I am. Mm-hmm. I do want to be a mom, but it's not something I always was like, I dreamt of. Whereas for some women, they're like, their ultimate goal in life is being a mom. So I think it's something scenarios where you have to sit down and talk to your partner.
Yeah, it is a conversation.
I also think that like if you're gonna ask your girl to stay home, like you have to be a certain caliber of man. Like you cannot be
definitely.
you cannot be
50K.
making like which is the average. Also like people really mess up like they do not understand what the average is.
The US it's an expensive.
It is.
place to live.
Miami's the most expensive city in the United States right now.
Yeah.
It is. You need a lot of money to be able to like even ask that question. Let alone like bring up the conversation. Like it is.
Yeah.
You need to be a certain caliber of man.
Planning, budgeting, making sure that you have enough to live, enough to provide for that child, and enough to live comfortably for your familial ties. Like you can't sit there and be like, oh, like you said, I'm not going to live in a basement, have a child, and say we're set. Like that to me, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like that's
obviously
crazy.
things happen, and if things happen, and you're in one of those situations where you can't afford it, and you want to have you figure it out as you go. But ideally, I do agree, you have to be in a certain level financially to be able to offer, from Adonis's perspective, your wife and your kid the best possible situation.
Yeah. Because then you provide the launching pad to a healthy relationship, a healthy family, a healthy kid, and then you can actually dictate where your life goes rather than being, a victim of your environment. And like if you grow up lesser or you have a certain mindset that you grow with, and everybody's capable of achieving greatness, and everybody can come from bad environments to be highly successful people. I've seen it throughout my life, and obviously it's very close, but it's one of those things that everybody has a certain chance and everybody has a certain, attempt. If you want to be successful, you can work your ass. You can work your ass off, and it will suck and it will grind and it will like kick you in the teeth, but you can do it. And then also raising a kid to be that way as well, and understanding like where your mom came from. It's very much her an inspiring story to the point where it's like, man, if that was bad, like I have a pretty peachy keen. Like I'm living and I'm comfortable in my apartment. I have 2 dogs. I've got a great girlfriend. I've got food in the fridge. I've got electricity bills paid. All my shit's paid for. Like I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good life.
Hey, stop cursing, bro.
Stop.
Stop cursing, bro.
Yeah, I'm kind of like self-made, obviously, and I'm pretty good.
Self-made billionaire.
I'm comfortable. Yeah,
Work your ass off for it.
All the guys in this
obviously-
room are actually really successful men. Just putting that out there.
And
They're all really successful.
But
in
you
their
worked
own right.
for it, and like
exactly. And I want her, and I want her. I want my woman to obviously like get up there as well. You know, I'm gonna pull her up, say like, hey, you know, like,
So
get to my
if-
level as well. You know.
So if one day your girl made more money than you, how would you then feel?
I would be proud.
You would
honestly.
be proud?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for saying
like
that.
honestly, depends on
you
what
can't
she
reject
does to make that income.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big
Well, that
one.
goes without saying. Let's say that it's a respectable career, and
Exactly.
honestly, amongst us 3 men, we can agree that OnlyFans is not it, and that you have your own business, you are working hard, and you are successful. And she just found the bag, and she's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
Mind you, we never know what anybody's situation is. You know, so respect to everyone. But those are your values and your beliefs, and I think
100%.
the majority of people, ideally in their mind, want to be in that scenario. But I do agree with Cesar. I think I'm proud you said that because a lot of men would let their ego
I'll be like,
through.
make that rain.
Yeah.
Make it rain.
Yeah, a lot of men. Not to say that, but you know.
Well, a lot of men get it
ego
twisted.
gets in the way of a lot of things.
Yeah, but you have to see it as like
There are things that men, you know, do better than women, 100%. Physically, mentally, we're different.
But
in a lot
Caesar's
of ways.
mindset is really good in that fact.
But that's a great mindset.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to say and commend it because Caesar's mindset is not every man's mindset. Yes, pride, ego will get in the way. You'll be like, fuck, this sucks. Why? Like, you get mad.
No more
But
cursing.
Caesar has this mindset to where your win is my win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you win,
we're
I
together.
win. That's
Adonis?
something that a lot of guys don't have. But I will say that your win is my win, but something inside of me will not be satisfied. And that's nothing to put down with
Well,
it.
being in a
but that is
relationship with
straight
you,
up, like-
I know you'll want to compete with me in a way.
No, I just want to succeed.
You know,
Yeah.
I say things like this because obviously, like, my sister is like,
Very successful.
super. Yeah.
Above
if I'm
her husband?
way above. let's
And
just
how
say
does
that.
he
And
feel?
she's like.
But she
like,
doesn't maintain
She's the man
him.
of the house.
Does she maintain him?
She wears the pants.
In a way, but like
Yeah.
he's always like the physical labor person.
Oh,
It's like,
okay.
oh, you know, like, I take care of you and all this
So
stuff.
they're like a
but she
partner.
makes the money.
Their partnership.
Yeah, and yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll leave it at that.
You know, they're married. They're married. Like,
Okay.
you know, 3 kids and everything.
No, partnership isn't like they
Work together.
run a business
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like she does most of the work, obviously, and she's the one with the brains
I-
and
I-
everything.
your
So
sister, yeah.
that's why I admire that. You know, if like my woman makes more money than me, I'll be
Well,
like,
that's the
yeah,
same scenario
nice.
with my parents. My mom is the man of the
Breadwinner.
Yeah.
the man of the household. My
Yeah,
mom
of
is
course.
the badass in the room,
Yeah.
and that's how it's always been. And she has, for some whatever
mama.
reason, she's always been the badass in the room. I admire that woman, and well, you've played beer pong with her. Joe has seen her hustle
Nah, she's
and
awesome.
a lot of things amongst the other
She's
things.
awesome.
Now you've met her too. But yeah, and my mom, I grew up in a household where my mom was the head of the household, always has been. So it's an interesting dynamic. Not to say, you know, my stepdad didn't hold his weight, but my mom just always has been, you know, I don't want to say the smarter one, but how do I
She
put
figured it out.
The leader.
She figured it out. The leader. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's always, in a relationship, I think there's always going to be something. Because not all men are leaders. Not all women are leaders. It is what it is.
There's always going to be a leader, but
There is.
You know, he needs to know how to delegate.
Yes. And there should be a
Delegation
mutual
is one of
partner.
the
I think
main things.
beyond that, it should be a mutual partnership. But because somebody has more success than the other, I don't think
That should be a deterrent.
that should be a
from
deterrent.
relationship. Yeah.
Right. Correct. That shouldn't be a deterrent from a healthy relationship.
Well, it goes to it too because you can have somebody who hustles super hard and you could have 50-50. But obviously somebody who hustles super hard is going to get burnt out.
Yeah.
I've gotten tired. I've expressed to you on multiple occasions where it's like, man, it's heavy. Like it's heavy. So then it's like, all right, well, she takes on 60-70 and then I'm 30-40 mentally. Like I'm just shot.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to where she'll go down. And then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm going to pick up 60,
Exactly.
70.
Yeah.
So it's not always 50-50. People need to understand that.
Yeah.
And it is very much,
Sometimes you're 80, sometimes she's 80.
Yeah, and when your business is firing, like you're super happy. When your business isn't doing good, man, you're not.
And I look, I even told her like when I was with like Anna, I'm like, or like when I'm with you, like I feel my business is like even higher than what it's supposed to be, because I feel like at ease, I feel calm. There's not this toxicity or anything like that. I feel like super like.
I think we should bring Anna in before this ends, so at least she could say hi and people could see her face, because we keep talking about her. She is here, by the way. Adonis, want to chime in real quick?
He's a provider
before we start ending and wrapping up. He has a different.
He's a very ambitious individual, and he will always want his significant other to live the best possible life she possibly can, and that roots his intro.
Yeah, you said it for me.
Boom.
I want you to say your own
Memorize
sentence.
that.
Joe is not Adonis. Adonis, say at least a sentence or two.
I agree with what Joe said. I
Get
just
salty.
I have a lot of on my mom's side. It's a lot of Hispanic women. It's like I don't know what it is about that genes on that side. It's just women. My dad had straight up boys. From what I have observed, if the woman makes significantly more money than the man, she respects him less. She just does. She just does. It is what it like. I have never seen a scenario where like the man is the head of the house and the woman makes significantly more money. I had just never seen it. I think I just don't believe that the woman respects him as much as maybe before, or maybe that was the dynamic from the beginning. But as someone who like intends to be like the head of the house, that's not. Granted, if it's like short term, I'll just have a fire in me. I'll be like, oh, and like. Let me not just start naming numbers, but if randomly she started like making more money than me, I'd be like, oh, I gotta get a raise.
But
Gotta
this
get
is
promoted,
good.
Gotta get whatever.
That's fair, because a lot of men will agree with what you're saying, and then a lot of perspectives are like Caesar's and Joe's. I'm more on their side, but
I think I kind of like agree with you as well, because obviously like
Caesar,
no, but I'm talking you know,
what side?
because you're saying that she makes more money than me, right?
Right.
If she makes more money than me, but like I make like, quite up there. So if she makes more than me, then good, But like, or are you talking about like
she's making like 95 and you're making like 33?
So
that girl does not respect you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at that point, it's
Random
like,
figures.
Yeah, it also depends on like the percentage.
At
like,
that
societal
point,
too.
the jobs that pay 33 is what, like
fry cook?
fry cook. I mean, I don't want to put it
know
out
the
there,
positions,
but
it's very
at that
consistent.
point, you're being lazy. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you just are.
But Adonis gave up a good point to where he's like, oh, you're going to have that fire. So it's like, if you're making 33, you're going to make 90, you're like, oh,
Right.
obviously. We've been through a situation where I was making substantially more money, and then I lost it all. And then when he met me, I wasn't making anything. And then
Joe and I,
crawl
yeah.
back forward. And now we're in a spot where we're very comfortable, but it's very much like, yes, there will always be that fire, and I will never be okay. Not necessarily if my woman makes more than me, but I will never be okay with feeling in my head that I'm not providing what I should be. And whether that's societal or culturally based, I will always feel like I need to be a provider in some certain sort of way, and that will come with a monetary value. That's just it.
Yeah.
And it will always be that.
I think, there's scenarios where you're not going to be able to control that. Like, say you lose a job, like.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes to like the character of the man. Like he could lose it all, but if he has like the correct character, he can build it back up. Yeah.
I personally want my man to support me if I do make that. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna respect you. Like,
I'll make your money, honey.
Yeah.
I will support it 100%.
Yeah.
And I will always say your wins are my wins.
because we have been in situations where, due to XYZ scenario, our salaries have been in different
Flux.
spheres and flux. Because, again, of different scenarios. And we've always supported each other. And, like, I don't know, at least from my perspective, Joe makes more than me. I don't feel like, I'm not like, oh, I need to make more than you to be better than you. Like, that's never a question. And he's extremely ambitious. So I just want him to keep working, because I know he can get there. And as long as I see that, that's what matters to me. And that's where my respect for him lies. Not so much in the monetary value, because you could be up here today, but tomorrow you could be down there. You could be a millionaire today, and tomorrow not have anything and be bankrupt.
I mean, it takes character to get there.
It takes character to get there. So I respect
things.
a man's character, not so much the monetary value. You know, it's like, how did you get there? What work did you put in?
I think.
And if you fall, how are you gonna get back up?
I think that you would, let's say right now, for whatever reason, Joe starts making like a good chunk less than you. I think for a period of time, you'll be okay. But long term, you wouldn't be okay.
Yeah.
But that's if he stays there.
If he stays there.
If I didn't
that's
see
what
him,
I'm saying.
right?
That goes more towards your character.
That goes
Fair
more.
enough.
Well, that's
fair
what I'm saying.
enough.
If I see him just be lazy and not do anything, yeah, that's gonna bug me. But if I see that he's trying to get better, he's applying to bigger jobs, he's trying to get certifications, I don't mind it.
Fair enough. Short term.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
But it is like you said, it's a very different situation when somebody gets kicked, they stay down.
Yeah.
When you stay down, that means you're broken mentally. You're just in the dirt. You can't get the momentum to come back up, and you really don't see the bright side of the world. And as a partner, it is one of those things where, like, I've been there, and you look to your partner for just a spark, just that little to be like, it's gonna be okay. And it was to commend her. It was definitely one of those things like, it's not permanent. Yeah. I was like, all right, I got this. Yeah. And then, like she said, resumes out the door, hundreds in a day. Like, but you don't go until you succeed.
I have to see you try, and that's really all I want. I want to see you try to get better, and that's where my respect comes from, not attached to the monetary value. Because, like I said, I've lived it where I've been in situations, even from my own parents, where they've been up here, then they've been down here, then they've been here again, and and I do think money can cause problems in a lot of ways. So I think your respect shouldn't come from the money and the value your partner makes, but how so they approach
and what
their
you're
situation
building
to get better, and what you're building, what they're building.
I think one of the number one things a healthy, successful relationship that people should have is never lose sight of what you're trying to build together.
Right.
I think
Men or
your
women.
house
Definitely.
is your safety. It is your Elysium. It is
Your
everything
peace.
you should have. It should be everything. Yeah, your peace, your root, your foundation. I've had times when I go to my house, I sit on my couch, my 2 dogs, and I'm like, man, the world sucks, but I'm okay right now.
Yeah.
And then you gain your momentum and you go back to what you need to get done, and you just tighten up your bootstraps.
And who you surround with has a lot to do with your success as well. Like the people you surround yourself with, are the people you're surrounding yourself with successful individuals? Because if they're not, and sorry to put it this way, but if they're not successful individuals, that can hold you back from a lot of things. You want to surround yourself with individuals who are hardworking, men and women. Because I myself, I'm sorry, but I don't want to be friends with anybody that's not hardworking or is not striving to get to a higher level, of whether it's career, whatever your project may be.
It's fun to talk to these two.
Yeah.
Like, I love talking to these two.
I want to sit down and have a conversation with you guys about everything.
Yeah,
and
we
then
talk
there's that
about
mutual
business,
respect, whether we agree or
that inner
not.
circle needs to be like really tight.
It needs to be
really
tight. Yeah.
And
And
it's
something
like-
I've learned from you guys, as the older you grow, the smaller it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very much like I can sit down at a table with these two and we'll shoot the shit, we'll catch up with each other's lives, and then it'll be like, all right, professionally, how are you doing? Professionally, how are you?
Yeah.
It's a natural progression.
Yeah.
This just grows, and people like this in the circle that you have,
Yeah.
and like these two are very close to me. Obviously, they came through you, and I thank you for the
Yeah.
world for that. This is my foundation.
Yeah.
I see him growing, and he will never stop, and I will
Yeah.
never stop, and that's just how we work.
Yeah. Like, we like to surround ourselves with successful individuals, and the people within our circle are hardworking people, respectful people who want more out of life. They
And
don't
they're
conform.
fun.
And they're fun. They're
They're
fun too.
fun. They're good old-fashioned fun.
Fun in a good way. Fun in a good way and a healthy way.
Yeah.
You want that too. I feel like you're in a different stage of life.
We're not in nightclubs getting wasted. We aren't,
Doing
doing
drugs.
ridiculous stuff. We're not buying ridiculous stuff.
My bedtime is 8:30. I wake up at 5.
Who'd you get that from?
She who will not be named.
China.
I was waking up early before it was like 7 though. Now it's just she's
Lazy.
making like 5.
And to wrap it up, I feel very happy with the conversation. I think it went very well. And then to wrap it up, I'm gonna ask you guys have 5 seconds for this question.
Oh.
I'm gonna count 5, 4, 3,
5
2, 1, and
seconds.
you better have an answer. Come up with the first thing that comes into your mind. Cesar.
What?
Because I 5 seconds. I'm gonna give you 3 if you don't say something. Before we wrap up.
We all
And
get
the
different
question
questions?
is.
Are you?
No, it's the same question for all
So
of
he
you.
gets 5, I get 10, he gets 15 seconds.
No, 5 for all of us. And who wants to start?
I'll go.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. If a book was written about your life, what would be the title? 5,
At
4,
first, we were
3.
broke.
Okay. 5, 4,
What a wild
3.
ride.
Say that again.
What a wild ride.
Okay. Cesar, 5, 4,
99
3,
laws of war.
2. Isn't that a book?
99 laws of war?
Yeah.
Isn't that a book?
Because I'm gonna write it. Oh,
Because I'm not ready.
Because I'm gonna. Is that a book? I feel like
yeah,
I've.
it's my book. I wanna write it.
Oh, you're
I'm
gonna
like
write.
halfway.
He's ahead of
Still
me.
getting there. But
What is it?
writing
What's the
his
title? I
book.
like that title. 99.
it's 99 laws of war, and war is basically scratch, and there's life because life is a battlefield.
Stay tuned. We'll have him back and talk about that book. I like
Life is a
that.
battle. Props. I'll give it to him.
He's also an ex-military sergeant, so just to put it out there, couldn't be any more badass. But anyway, we've had a great talk. It's time to wrap it up. Thank you guys for being here. I had a lot of fun chatting with you.
Thank you. Had a good time.
I'm gonna make sure Joe stays. I'm gonna make sure Joe stays as a Big Mac, and I stay as a Big Mac, and not go to chicken nugget level. You know.
Yeah.
But
And as Joe's friend, it's my job to make sure he stays a Big Mac.
you better,
That's my job. That's my job.
because if he doesn't, I'm gonna blame it on you.
I also wouldn't be his friend anymore.
And there's proof. There's proof. We're being recorded.
Of course.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next episode of Honestly Kidding. I don't know how long that was, but good job, guys.
I'm tired and hungry.
All right, let's go eat on